Chats, episode 101. Visit catflapchats.com if you want to see our back catalogue and our merch and our partners. But actually, have you got a drink? You all sorted?
Yep, all good, mate. All good.
Because it's 11 o'clock on a Monday, Tiny Red will give me beers every episode, but I'm not cracking this open because it's 6.2% and I've got shit to do today.
You got an hour, you got 55 minutes, mate. You can crack it open then.
No, it ain't worth it, trust me. Hey, look, appreciate Mr. James Hook coming on board. Looking forward to this. And I'm not just saying this because you're on it. One of my favourite players, because I love, even though I look like a bit of a lump, I was like one of those 10s that if it's older than 22, I'd cross-field it and let's go.
Yeah.
And I love the way you played. And I don't know what it is about Wales over the last however many years where those 10s just don't, they get vilified almost, like scared of making mistakes to the team or whatever. I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
But, you look at Priestland, Jared Evans now, like I'd love people like that just to get more time and play. So I absolutely loved you as a player, mate. Thanks for coming on board.
Cheers, mate. Nice one. That's probably part of my downfall of playing from the 22,
Yeah, but that's what gets the people going.
Yeah, exactly. I loved it, mate. And I suppose I was one of those 10s or players that just, if you saw the space, you sort of played into it, whether it was right or wrong,
I'm all for it, pal. And if it doesn't come off, who cares? I'd rather lose trying. I've never played professional sport. Like I played Division 1 in Wales at my best. Like I was an average of very, very, very good on social. Like,
don't put yourself down, bud.
Oh no, but I was the sort of player I'd grubber it through, and people were like, "What the fuck?" But once in every 10, it would be like, "That was immense." I'd be like, "Yeah, cheers, thanks for coming." What's life like, pal? What's news? What's going on? You've got your couple of books out. You're obviously with the Ospreys. Like, what is life like at the moment?
It's all right, mate. Yeah, it's good. So obviously I retired just before COVID, really. My last season was obviously when the season sort of stopped because of COVID in March. So obviously didn't get my sort of last few games with the Ospreys. And obviously the COVID, the lockdown stuff happened. So I'd already signed with the Ospreys with a coaching job in the academy. And I'm also doing the Swansea University as well because they got a partnership with the Ospreys. So myself and Hugh Gustafsson are coaching the uni as well. So you know Gus, do you?
He was in uni a year below or 2 years below me.
Oh, boy and a half, man. Flip the neck.
Yeah,
but good coaching fairness to him. So I enjoy that. So that's keeping me busy. And yeah, like you say, the books as well was something I was doing the last couple of years of my playing career. And since I finished, they've gone well, particularly the first book. We won the Sports Book of the Year award, got to London for that. So that was great. And the second one came out 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that's good.
So for people who haven't seen the books, I would imagine anyone who's listening to this would have known you as a player. If they haven't seen the books or heard about the books yet, give a quick little insight into how that came about and what they're about, just so people can go and look them up then as well, especially with Christmas coming.
Yeah. So they're called Chasing the Rugby Dream. It's a series of books. We've got 2 out so far. First one's called Kick Off, and basically it's a fictional book, but it's loosely based on my career on and off the pitch through the eyes of a 10-year-old boy called Jimmy. So a lot of the stories on and off the pitch, some sort of relate to my life and my playing career, and some of them are fiction. And the characters in the book reflect some of the players and the coaches that I've been coached by, and my family in the book as well reflects my family. So yeah, nice. Something. It was an idea that came about actually whilst I was playing in Gloucester. My eldest boy Harrison, he was looking for a rugby story for kids. He's rugby mad, and there just wasn't any there. A load of football stories. The only rugby stories were history of World Cups or autobiographies and stuff. So it's just got me thinking a little bit, and I didn't really do anything about it for 8 to 10 months, and then I had a day off on a Wednesday, and I rang Mal Pope, who's a family friend who lives in Mumbles, and just said to him, Mal, I got this idea. I know you've obviously got a few contacts. Do you know an author I could, get in touch with, and we can put this together? And I met Dave Brayley, who I co-authored the book with, and it's just a really good collaboration. And like I said just now, we just chuffed this. It's gone well, particularly book one.
Did that help having that? I know you had the coaching lined up, but has that helped that transition? Because so many times you see in the press, especially maybe more in football and maybe some of the more like higher paid ones where they go from millions to kind of the everyday world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Did it help that transition, having that to go and put your mind to something else? I know you wanted to spend time with the family and you were going out on your own terms, which again, rarely people get to do.
Yeah.
But did it help with that transition?
100%. Yeah, I think, a lot of the boys who finished playing, obviously, like you say, I was lucky I managed to finish on my terms, and you sort of prepare a little bit for it. It's obviously the ones who find it probably a little bit tougher, in their prime, get cut down by injury and have to finish and haven't got anything lined up. It's a little bit tougher, but it's still a transition you've got to try and get used to. As a rugby player, so 16 years professional, every day on a Sunday, you look at your schedule for the week, right, on Monday we're doing this, at this time, it's all there for you, it's on a plate, and then when you finish, it's like, right, you sort of find your own path again then. But I think the books and the coaching and stuff, that keeps me busy. I think that's the main thing when you finish, is trying to keep busy, because when you're a player, you're always flat out, you're here, there and everywhere, and the books, the coaching, my wife and kids all keep me busy, so you haven't really got time to think about it, to be honest. But
do you still, like, on the training pitch now, do you still get the itch, like kicking sessions or like touching pads before the main session? Like, do you still get the itch to go, oh, dummy, let's go, oh, he's gone?
Oh, we do, like sometimes with the academy, if we're down on numbers, myself or Andrew Bishop is down there, Paul James as well, and Gus, I mentioned, we all jump in, flipping like we back to 19, 20-year-olds then, like,
What happens when one of them drops a shoulder, though?
Oh, you fly it down, don't you?
Oh, you fucking love that. That's class. Our things at the Ospreys then, they obviously got new backers and signed a few of the boys back. Anscombe's obviously back playing now. North, I know obviously Anscombe's in Wales, but North is back with you guys. What's it like down there?
Yes, it's a good feeling, actually. The Ospreys, the last couple of years, have been through a tough time. Pre-COVID and during COVID, they moved from Llandarcy to St Helens.
Yeah.
And now they're back in Llandarcy. They've sort of perked up the training facilities a little bit, and like you say, Toby Booth's come in. A couple of new boys, a couple of boys who come back from injury. I know we got a couple out injured, like you just said, but we're winning some games now as well. Good win against Munster the other day, so it's a good feeling. There's a good feeling in the camp there, and like you say, it is a bit of a shame. They've got George North out injured, Lydiat out injured, Tipperick, obviously Alan Wynne now as well. So
yeah,
but at the end of the day, that's part and parcel of rugby as well, isn't it?
Do you know when you look back now, like, are you glad you played in the era and the times that you did, or would you love to be starting again now? Which one would you, not based on the success you've had, but just growing up through what would now be your academies and stuff, and how you did it as a fresh-faced 18-year-old playing for Neath back then? Which way would you rather do it?
I loved the way I came up and played. I played Aberafon Youth, and then I went from Aberafon Youth and I played for Chorus, British Steel. When I still had a year left of youth rugby to play, but our youth team had disbanded because all the older boys had gone, so there was no team. So I went straight to senior rugby, played a year and a half in Tata Steel, and then Neath. And I just felt like I was playing every week. I think, academy boys, they do get sort of held back a little bit now, and the game time is managed and limited and things. But I just loved playing every single week, and playing in a senior environment at 17, 18 years of age with grown men and playing against grown men. I think it definitely helped me, and it has changed now, as rugby has, since I first started, but I would never change it, no way.
What sort of character were you? Like, were you, as a 10, you got to be quite vocal, not mouthy, but like trying to run the show? Like, were you like that? Yeah. Or were you intimidated going as a kid going into those sort of adult environments? Because at 18, we all think we're an adult, but technically we're not really. We were still immature. No. What was that like going into those change rooms? Because Neath obviously were one of the successful sides of that pre-regional era as well.
Yeah, and I wasn't the most vocal. Like there's not many sort of 17, 18-year-olds that come through into a senior environment that are vocal, But Dan Biggett, to be fair, when he came in, he was quite sort of mouthy, and we obviously see what he's gone on to achieve. But no, I think I'd probably give a bit of credit to Roland Phillips and Patrick Hogan and Neath. They give me the reins at 10, and they were nursing me through games. Patrick Hogan was a player coach, so I played with him. I was 10, he was 9, and he helped me a heck of a lot. And when you play in teams like Neath, and then obviously you go up to the Ospreys and Wales, you quickly realise if you're playing in a pivotal position like 10, you've got to talk. You know what I mean? If you don't, you don't last long. So you've got no choice really.
What was that like playing for Nice sort of week in, week out? And then obviously you got your Wales cap before you got your Ospreys cap, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
What was
before I
that
started for the Ospreys, yeah.
Yeah, so like you've almost like jumped the level there. Like, what was that like stepping into that environment as well?
It was crazy because like I was still sort of finding my feet. I was settled in the Nice team, but you automatically think, right, if you're going to play for Wales, then you've got to get into the Ospreys team, establish yourself there, and then get picked there. And I remember at the end of my second season in Nice, I had a phone call off Alan Phillips saying, he'd been selected in the Welsh squad for Argentina. Like, I'm like, I've only come off the bench a couple of times for the Ospreys. Like, what's this about? Like, and we met up in the Vale before we went to Argentina with the squad, and spoke to Nigel Davis. I remember him pulling me aside, and he was saying, okay, I know you haven't played or started for the Ospreys, but you're coming on this tour to play. Like, you're not holding the pads, like, and that gave you a hell of a lot of confidence. And true to his word, I was on the bench for the first test against Argentina, and started the second test. And I felt we lost both tests, but played decent enough. And then from there, I came back and started some games for the Ospreys then. But I still had to try and push my way into the Ospreys. Lynn Jones, probably looking back, is probably the right thing to do. He didn't just chuck me straight in. Just have had a couple of caps. Oh, there we go. You can start for the Ospreys. I still was competing against Matthew Jones was there at the time at 10. Sean Connor, Gav Ensign was there, who was playing 10, 12. So I still had to earn my stripes there as well. So that sort of helped me as well.
When you're on tour and you're away, and I can imagine tours back then might be a little bit different to now, and there were less camera phones, and you could probably enjoy yourself a bit more. Like, did you have an initiation, sing a song, like anything like that at all?
Yeah, with Wales, they had the same initiation. It's just sing a song. I think in Argentina, I sang a stereophonic song. I think I've built the repertoire a bit now, so I got a couple more songs up my sleeve now. So that's one thing the academy boys and younger boys can start to learn a bit better. I think sometimes you get the academy boys or younger boys up to sing a song on the bus, and they got their phones with the lyrics. So I try and teach my boys to before you can play rugby, forget the rugby, just learn a song first, and then you can get better at rugby. Like,
class, I love that. Wayne Hall had the place going Saturday for his boys' 40th.
Ah, right, yeah.
He's singing a couple of songs. Yeah, fucking brilliant, man. Real good.
But no, we did the initiations. Like, you go back to like Melbourne youth days and stuff like that. The initiations were far worse. You know what I mean? You have the drinking ones, and then you up and down the bus, you the naked, the gauntlet, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You won't get away with it. You won't get away with it these days, like,
Nah, I seen them. I won't name a club, but I think one of the clubs back earlier in the season. I think it was the youth boys. They'd strip off a bus. They had to run a mile and chase a bus or something like that. Like, I miss stuff. I'm 35 now, or 36 this month. Like, but it's different then. Like, you could do it, you could get away with it, and no one was really hurt or anything. Like, it was the good times,
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, times have changed now, and they saw.
What do you remember about your sort of Wales debut, and then coming back into that Ospreys environment? Because again, the Ospreys at that point, like the Galacticos, they're just the teams that they had over the next sort of 3, 4, 5 years were unbelievable.
They're incredible. And like, the first cap, I just remember being in awe of everyone, because the Argentina squad for Wales who went there, it was a strong squad, but they left boys like Stephen Jones, Martin Williams, Alfie, the big boys were left behind and rested for that tour. But you still had, Shane Williams, Matthew Watkins was obviously passed away now, sadly, but he was a big help, and helped me along on that tour. And there's a lot of experienced boys, and I was just loving every second of it, like just being around, training around the hotel, and obviously playing. And like I say, even though I had 2 caps then coming back, I still had to sort of work hard to get my spot in the Osprey squad. Probably the breakthrough was we played against Sale in the Heineken Cup, and I was on the bench. And I came on at the end, and we scored a great try, went a ridiculous amount of phases, and had a pressure kick to win the game. And after that, then I was in the squad and started to line up a lot more with Lynn, and that helped me along and to sort of get into the international squad and so on. Yeah.
What was it like trying to sort of, again, as you were 10, like what was it like trying to manage some of those egos and some of those names? Because I don't know if they had egos or not, to be honest, but like just some of the names that you had in that squad were like World 15 players. Like they were absolutely unbelievable. What's that like trying to marshal a team round? And like, is it easy when you're got so many superstars to pull in the same direction, or can it be a bit fractured at times?
I found it easy, really easy, because there was so much, like the year after I came back. So was it 2008-9 when then you had the big boys like, you know, the Philo Tia, Justin Marshall, Jerry Collins. Who else did we have? We had obviously Stefan de Blanche. You know, I probably missed a couple. And then I had the Welsh boys, the quality and Welsh players we had there. It was just quality everywhere. And obviously you had to talk and try and orchestrate people around the pitch, but people were just doing their own jobs. Like, you know, you didn't have to tell someone to do this and that because they just do it. It was an unbelievable team, and just a pleasure of playing in, you know. And frustration as well, because we got the 2 Heineken Cup quarterfinals and should have gone better, should have gone further. But, you know, we won 2 or 3 league titles, which was great, obviously. But yeah, probably the Europe is the one you wanted, and that was the only frustration, to be honest.
What was it about Europe then? Because you had a couple of knockouts. There was a group stage you didn't get out, because I think it was like when Munster were obviously unbelievable at the time as well.
Yeah.
And, like, what was it about Europe? Because the team you had, genuinely, if you'd have put like a Northern Hemisphere versus, like, that wouldn't have been far off. You could put that team out, it would do well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't know. Biarritz should have won. Probably, you know, it was there for us, and, you know, a couple of decisions probably didn't go away. That was the one that really, you know, still hurts now when you think of that game. Saracens in the quarterfinal as well in Watford. We'd beaten them, I think, by 30 odd points in I think it was like the Anglo-Welsh Cup in the Principality Stadium. We battered them, and like we played them then 2 weeks later in the quarterfinal. So I think we just went into the game thinking, here we go, we'll do it again, and probably got a little complacent. So that got away, and it's just the way it goes. And after the Biarritz quarterfinal knockout, you know, that spurred us on. And we had a couple of games where we had to win in the league, and we ended up winning the league, which was a bit of a consolation. But you know, it's tough. You know, when you get to the knockout stages of Europe, it's tough. And, you know, one thing we learned is we can't be complacent.
Is
2 seconds, Mikey. Pop.
Sorry, go on.
Hang on, I'll send it out there, Mike. 2 seconds, Mike. Sorry, Pop. She'll settle down now.
All good, boy, don't worry. I done one with Ken Owens before. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and his boy come down for food. He's about 3 or 4 years old, like, causing carnage in the kitchen, opening crisps and that, mate. Funny. Class. Mate, before we get into your Wales career, because, like, again, I suppose here, like, it's Wales mad, isn't it? Almost like at the moment, we're in this, like, Wales first sort of mentality rather than the clubs or the regions. But actually, you went to Perpignan, you went to Gloucester. Like, what were those experiences like? Because, again, if a player left Wales now to go to Perpignan, they'd be probably vilified in the press and, like, what's he doing? I mean, you had release clauses, obviously, but it's frowned upon now, whether it's right or wrong. I don't necessarily agree with it being frowned upon. I think players should go and experience other things. It surely makes them better people, let alone better. Like, what were those experiences like for you? I've never been down to Perpignan, but it always looked amazing on TV.
Oh, it's an amazing place, and, you know, it's an hour and a half from Barcelona, right on the coast. But it was a tough decision, because the year before I signed for Perpignan, they came asking about me, and I was in my prime, really, with the Ospreys, 24, 25, and I wasn't really thinking about moving. We'd obviously won, you know, a few league titles by that point. And when they came the second time, and like you say, I could get the release clauses and stuff. Obviously, I'd looked into it. I was speaking to my wife, Kim, and, you know, we had one boy at the time, and I got 3 now. But I was like, you know, this is probably the only opportunity you're going to get, you know, through rugby. And, you know, they're obviously really keen for us to go out there. And we looked at it. And when I sort of made the decision to Kim, it all moved pretty quickly. I remember driving to the Vale to sign the contract, and driving back and thinking, jeepers, what have I done here now? I'm going to France. There's no turning back. You know, I'm going to France for 3 years, and myself and my wife had moved out to West Glamorgan, like, you know, so I was like, how am I going to cope here? But that was probably an anxious time, just thinking, how's it going to go? Because, the unknown is anxious. But once you got out there, like you say, we absolutely loved it. And the rugby was, especially at home, the atmosphere, I absolutely loved it. And, they get behind you, the home supporters, and, they get on your back a little bit, mind if you lose at home. But, just an amazing experience. And Luke Charteris came out in my second season in France. We had a bit of company there as well. And, there was a lot of non-French players, and I got on with all the French players as well. But just a real nice club. And, I wouldn't change that either.
Does it take the pressure off you a bit, being outside of Wales and outside that little goldfish bowl that Wales can be?
Yeah, it does, definitely. And it was good timing in a way, because obviously we just got knocked out of the semi-final against France in the World Cup 2011. And, that still really hurts as well. And I think even though we got knocked out to France in the World Cup and I was moving to France, it was probably a blessing in disguise, really, because coming back to Wales and then the sort of hangover of the World Cup probably wouldn't have been the best place to be. So we got out there away from everything, and it was a fresh start. And like I say, absolutely loved it.
Good lifestyle as well.
So relaxed. It's ridiculous, man. It's the structures of the day as well is different. So whereas back here, you turn up at 8, 9 in the morning, you do your weights and your unit split with the backs and forwards, have a little break, have your team session at 2, you're done by sort of 3:03. In France, you come in the morning, do your weights and units, and then you'd finish by 11 and you'd go home for like 4 or 5 hours. The boys would have food, have a siesta. And, I could never sleep in the day, so I was just there twiddling my thumbs, waiting to go back at 4 o'clock and for training, so they knew what to drag a day out, I can tell you.
Class, I love that. I think it's great, for people to experience different cultures. The world's I live in Cardiff now, but I'm from Plymouth originally. The world's bigger than where you're born and where you grew up. Do you want to experience it? Surely it makes you better. And then, so I know obviously it was a bit of a tough time towards the end of Perpignan. Obviously they got relegated, didn't they? The 1 year live. But why Gloucester? We had Nicky Robertson on, and he obviously was at Gloucester, and I knew I know Darren Lewis, the analyst, who was there. Was he there when you were there?
Darren's a great bloke, that.
Dude, I seen him the other week. He's an unbelievable bloke, mate. I absolutely love him. Why Gloucester then? Because I would imagine someone of your caliber would have had clubs all over asking for signatures at various points. Yeah,
like you said, it was tough. At the time when we did get relegated, we had obviously myself, Luke Charteris, Alistair Strokos was there as well. Back row, Luke Narroway was out there. So we had a really good team, and we just obviously it was frustrating. We got relegated in the end. It went down to the last couple of games, and so I wasn't. Say it again.
With a team like that, how does that happen?
No idea, because we had quality French players as well. But towards the end, then we left Nico Masco, our French captain. He wanted to stay in Perpignan, and they wouldn't give him what he wanted, so he went to Montpellier. Maxi Memos left us to go to Toulouse, sorry, and just started losing players, and it's just one of those things. It's a really competitive league, mind the top 14. So if you're a little bit off and you lose a couple of home games, then you're in trouble, and that's what happened with us. And going back to what you said about Gloucester, because it went down the last couple of games, I wasn't focused on what I was doing next season. I was focused on trying to keep the club up. And then obviously when we did get relegated, it's you can stay, because I just recently signed a 3-year contract with Perpignan, so I was planning on staying 6 years, and I wanted to stay. I would have taken a little bit of a pay cut, but they were cutting all the contracts and stuff, and it just wasn't feasible, so that's when I started looking elsewhere, as did the other boys. Luke Charteris went to Racing Metro, Luke Narroway came back to England, and Gloucester came knocking. I thought, well, I've played in the Celtic League at the time with the Ospreys, played in the French top 14, so there's an opportunity now to play in the English League, and it's a cracking league, obviously, as you know, and Gloucester are a fantastic club, not too far from home either, only an hour and a half from Wales where I live. So so that it was a no-brainer. Went to meet Stephen Vaughan, who was running the club at the time, and he sold it to me really well. And I remember leaving there thinking, I don't want to go and look anywhere else. I want to stay here,
Class, love that.
Yeah.
Was you had, was it the European Challenge Cup you won when you were at Gloucester as well? You had some success there.
Yeah, so in Gloucester, when I signed, we had Greg Laidlaw signed, Richard Hibbard had signed, and we had obviously the English boys with Billy 12 Trees, Johnny May, Charlie Sharp. It was a very good team, and yeah, my first season there, we won the Challenge Cup. We struggled a little bit in the league, so it was a completely new team they were trying to put together. We struggled a little bit in the league my first year, but winning the Challenge Cup was brilliant. And you ask any professional player, you want to play the game, but you want to win trophies as well. So to get something out of that first season was brilliant. Yeah.
What's the differences then between what's now the amalgamation of obviously the Europe United Rugby Championship and then the top 14 in that English league? Like, what makes them so different? And like, I would always say, I'm quite neutral when it comes to like what's better, but I would say the English league is better to watch than what we've currently got around Wales and the Celtic nations. And looking at it, I'd say it's a bit better than the French league, but I might be, that's just my opinion. Like, what is it about those leagues that make them so different, good, bad, or whatever?
Yeah, I think with the French league, like they put, like I mentioned just now, they put an awful lot of pressure on the home games, and the mentality away from home was something that surprised me a little bit. They were sometimes going away from home thinking, right, we'd be happy with a losing bonus point here. And I remember I tell a story about Biarritz, played Biarritz away, and they were just below us. So you go there expecting a win. Your mentality is to win, but then like we did win, and the president is coming in, and everyone's just like thinking, right, job done, right, the next job. But the president's so happy with the win. He come in, he's like telling everyone, you can keep the jerseys, boys. Just enjoy the win. And we're like, well, they're below us. We should have beaten them. That's the mentality you should have had. But like you say, they were just happy to take a losing bonus point away and then put the pressure on at home. And it was crazy because you could lose away from home against the bottom of the league, and you play someone like Clermont at home, and you beat them with a bonus point sometimes. It's like, it's bonkers sometimes. But then the English league was a little bit different, where every week was a massive battle. The crowds were big everywhere you went.
Yeah.
And everyone was on sort of a level playing field, if you like,
Yeah. Strange. Like, you hear stories about France, like, it's unbelievable, and it's like, I don't know, baffling in equal measures. It was like strange.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, yeah.
Yeah, mad. I'd love to, just before, obviously, you obviously came back to the Ospreys then, had a couple of years, COVID ruined things. Like, again, like, what would you, did you ever have an opportunity to play Southern Hemisphere rugby and like Super Rugby at all? Because I feel like you would have absolutely fucking loved that.
Well, yeah, mate, that's what I was going to mention. So when I came and signed for Gloucester, one of the options was to go and play in Japan and Australia with Melbourne Rebels. And that was something I really considered. And I'd been to Australia with Wales many times. And Kim, my wife, always says she'd love to go to Australia. She's never been. So like, I was thinking, well, this is probably the opportunity to do it. But yeah, like I said, when I saw Gloucester and I wanted to play in that league, I decided to go down that route. But even when I was in my second stint in the Ospreys, I'd been approached to go out to Australia and do a similar sort of thing. But towards the end of my career, I wasn't the player I was when I signed for Gloucester. I'd probably lost a yard of pace. And if you're going to go out there and play on those hard grounds and, with those sort of players, you want to be playing at your best. You don't want to be making up the numbers. So I sort of made that decision that I wasn't going to do it. But yeah, I got approached there. And yeah, you always think, that would have been great. But I suppose you can't do it all, can you?
No, I mean, it doesn't. You got a smile on your face, so it doesn't seem like you regret any of the decisions that you've made. You've obviously enjoyed your times there across those like club teams. Who were some of the players that you absolutely loved playing with? Who were some of the players you absolutely hated playing against because they were good, not necessarily because they were knobs or whatever? Like, who were some of those players that you just remember going, "Fuck yeah, he was class," or "That's a hard day in the office"?
Yeah, we've spoken about him already, but the first time in the Ospreys, Shane, what we haven't mentioned yet, was the player, in dinners and stuff, in Q&As, you get asked about who's the best player. And he was, if you were down by a couple of points with a couple of minutes to go, as a 10, you're looking, right, how do we get Shane into the game? How do we get the ball to him? Because he just do something. And he would often do it as well, wouldn't he,
Yeah.
So him and the other guys, New Zealand guys, I've already mentioned, they were amazing to play with. And like when I went to Gloucester, like I mentioned, Johnny May, he was a crazy player. You know, he could do anything.
He scored good try at the weekend.
Yeah, I know, exactly. He's so much gas, you know. But
Yeah.
who else? In France, Henry Tuolangi was unbelievable. You know, we'd always place him back on pretty much the try line. Teams would kick long. I don't know why when Henry Tuolangi was playing in the team, because he just offloaded the ball and you'd listen to the roar of the crowd go up when he gets ahead of steam, and he'd usually skittle someone or a few players out of the way, like, you know, and you know, he'd have 30, 40 minutes and, you know, he'd be done then, but he's great, like, you know.
Class, I love that.
Yeah.
Who are the sort of players you come up against, you know, regularly or whatever, you're just like, fuck's sake, he's a pain in the ass. Like, he's good, he's hard, he's whatever.
Like, you come across loads of, you know, players, particularly international, who were class, who were quality. But I suppose at Munster, you know, back in the day when you had O'Gara, who was, I always admired his kicking game and the way, you know, out in Munster in Thorman Park, you know, the way he just direct the team around the pitch, you know, it wasn't difficult in terms of trying to tackle him or beat him. It was just like almost thinking, God, we're in a good position here, and he gets him out of a hole, he puts Munster back in the corner, and I just admired the way he played, like, you know, so he's probably one of them, yeah.
Class. Yeah, you could put good class player. I'd love, you just mentioned internationally, I'd love to get stuck into your Wales career a bit. I can imagine you've answered these questions before, but I want to hear it from, you know, the horse's mouth, I suppose. Like, when you look back now as a fresh-faced kid and, you know, so what do you say, 16 years as a professional, when you look back now, like, what's your thoughts on your Wales career? Because on the one hand, 81 caps, I want to get this right, 2 Grand Slams, 3 World Cups. But on the flip side of that, the World Cup disappointment, playing in, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 12 different positions for Wales at the time. Like, what are your overarching sort of thoughts and feelings when you look back on that? 'Cause it's an incredible career, but I still, like, as an outsider who knows nothing, just wish that sometimes you'd have just been given a bit more, I don't know whether it was backing or whatever, to just nail down that 10 slot or a particular position, and that was it, leave you alone.
Yeah, it probably was. You look back and you mention all those things, and it's great. And for over a 16-year career, you know, there was times where, yeah, probably I should have been given the reins at 10 a little bit more, and then probably times my own fault, you know, I should have taken an opportunity more as well. But I always go back to the point, I think it was 2011 Six Nations, where pretty much summed up my career, last Six Nations. I started at 15 against England. Yeah. You know, went well. And then obviously I wanted to play 10. 15 was my least favourite position out of the 4 I played. Just I felt, you know, I wasn't involved in the game as much as I wanted to be. I just felt like I was defensively running in the backfield without getting any involvement. So that's why he was my least favourite. But after that, then I was given the reins at 10 against Scotland in Murrayfield. So I thought, right, here we go, there's a chance now. And played really well, you know, kicked my goals, sort of felt like I marshalled the team around. And in that game, John Davis, at 13, had got injured. So, you know, Rob Howley kept me, I remember him now in the Vale Hotel in reception and saying, look, John's injured. We haven't got anyone else to fill in at 13. We want to keep you at 10, but it's the only way we can do it. So I was like, you know, it basically summed it up then. So I went to 13, and a lot of people say, well, why didn't you just say no? You know what I mean? And tell him no. But, you know, you tell him no, he'd probably put me on the bench and put someone else there, or, you know, or he was just going to do it anyway. So, so when I played 13 then for a couple of games there. And so I played centre, 10 and 13 in our 1 Six Nations when, you know, it just pretty much summed it up. But like you said just now, it was a hindrance, but it was probably a blessing as well, because being able to play that many positions, you know, made sure I was in the squad pretty much, you know, every time. But I found myself, you know, either playing all over the back line or on the bench probably too many times as well.
It's just that one position in Wales, isn't it? You've always been blessed with players. So obviously Stephen Jones, you're bigger now, and there's a couple of other boys who are obviously having a go. Like, what is it about why is it just the 10 that's always the one that just gets not picked on as much, but like it's just more scrutinized, if that's the right term to use? What is it about that position? Because sure, like, it shouldn't matter that much when you've got a team of world-class players, like, but it is, like, it's always the focal point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I think maybe it just goes back to, you know, the outside our factory. Everyone's, you know, enthralled in that. When I had Phil Bennett, Barry John days, and you know, in France, I think it's the 9. There's a big focus on the 9 in France, isn't it? You know? In New Zealand, I think it's more the back row, you know, maybe because, you know, McCall or whatever. But, you know, like you say, we've got so many quality players. You look at Wales's back row options now.
Unbelievable.
You know, it's incredible. It's bonkers. But for some reason, we got a fascination with the 10s in Wales, and there's always big pressure on the 10. You know, every international team, the 10's under pressure because, you know, and you're 9, you're charged with trying to control things. So, yeah, I don't know, to be honest, mate. I haven't a clue.
Did you feel that pressure more so when you hadn't played 10 for a few games and then were just like almost not thrown in, because that's being disrespectful to you, but you can understand what I'm trying to say, where you were thrown in for one and then you were back at 12 the next game or whatever? Like, did you feel more pressure in those games that you were given the reins at 10?
Yeah, a little bit, because, yeah, you know, you mentioned something like Stephen Jones or Dan Biggar's probably a good example. From when he's first started, he has played every single day in the 10 position. And, you know, sometimes I genuinely, most weeks really, until I went to Perpignan and Gloucester, I turned up and on a Monday, didn't know which position I was going to be training in. Do you know what I mean? It depended on injuries or form. And you'd be like, right, you know, okay, you run the 10 today. Look, you're looking to play you 12 on Saturday or 13 or 15. So, you know, you wouldn't know, you know, you'd have obviously a run of games, you know, now and again at different positions, 10, 12 or 15 or whatever. But I think if you're playing 10, especially internationally, you've got to be training and playing there week in, week out to get that much better, you know. But yeah, I don't use that excuse at all, by the way. It's just the way it was, like, you know.
But then I suppose that's testament to you as a player that you're able to still hit 81 caps playing across 4 different positions equally as well. Like, it's not like you were last choice at 15, so let's throw Hooky in. It was like we want him on the pitch. We want him somewhere. There's a space there. Well, we want him to play, because otherwise you could have just been on the bench and just filling in as and when people were dropping then. So I suppose it's testament to you as well, pal.
Yeah, no, it was, particularly, you know, for a large chunk of my career, and towards sort of the end and the back end, you know, probably got to the point where Wales had such a strong side, you know, with whether it was Biggar or Stephen Jones, probably Biggar then after, you know, it was him, you know, you'd have Jamie Roberts, Jonathan Davis, Lee Halfpenny. So there's boys who were nailed on in their position. And then it's sort of like, oh, you know, Hookie's a great option on the bench and sort of thing. So that it's just the way it goes. And, you know, I don't regret it. And, you know, you can always look back on anything and say, what if this, that, and the other. But, you know, like you said, I'm thankful to have had the 81 caps and the achievements and things as well.
Would you say you were a good squad player? Because, again, I would imagine if I was in that position, I'd get wound up with it. Like, no, I'm a fucking 10. I'm playing 10 or 12, whatever it is. Like, were you a good squad player then? Like, or did you struggle with that a bit because you were being sort of shifted here and there?
No, I probably would have been a good squad player because, you know, I'd always sort of question Rob Owley or mainly Rob Owley. We didn't speak to Gatland that much and just sort of say, you know, what's going on? What can I do? And, you know, I'd never give him any grief. I just want to know, you know, what I could do. And there wasn't really any real answers. So,
yeah, probably was that's good. Frustrating bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, you know, it wasn't all plain sailing. Sometimes I had opportunities and I didn't take it for whatever reason. You know, that's the way it goes. But yeah, I didn't really give the coaches any grief, so they'd probably like, you know, yeah, put him in there, he'd be all right, like, you know.
Yeah, it's just hard to be a good. I don't know whether maybe it's not hard to be a good teammate, right? But it would seem to me it's just hard to be smiling around the place when that would be happening. I don't know, like
oh, don't get me wrong. When you know, some games, like, you sat on the bench, you don't get on, or you're not even in the squad sometimes, and you watch a game unfold and you think, you know, I can do something there. I can make a difference in this game. And, you know, it probably goes down to the way Gatland's tactics are as well, and the way he wants to play. You look at the Lions tour just gone now. There were players like Finn Russell, obviously came on by default, really, in that third test and changed the whole dynamic of the game. But Gatland wouldn't have wanted that from the start, you know. It was only until it happened by default that we all realised, you know, that's the way everyone wants to see the game played.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, I suppose that probably had a bit of an impact as well on things.
Well, again, Wales at the World Cups, like, what was it? Like 2007, 2011, 2015? Was it, I want to get this right now, like South Africa in the quarters, France in the semis, What was 2007? Was that the Fiji game?
Fiji, yeah.
And was that the kit where the shoulders like stop there almost?
Yeah. Like I was like going up. Actually, this is how small we were, right? My boy was he's 12 in December, so it was 2 years ago. Because obviously COVID, so he's 10, right? And St. David's Day in school, he wore it. He wore it to school, and it was tight on him.
You're a tall bloke as well.
Stretched like hell, like, you know.
Fucking hell, those shirts were ridiculous. I remember.
Oh, bonkers, yeah.
What was it about Wales and the World Cups? Again, they were going with teams that should be challenging for those later knockouts, and I just feel that, I don't know, I'm an outsider looking in who's never played professional sport, but you look at like that France game, even South Africa, and like they're good enough to just get over the line. So what is it? What stopped there?
Well, at 2007, you know, we didn't even get the quarterfinal there. We got knocked out in the group stages, and we probably had one eye on the quarters. All we had to do was beat Fiji, and you know, we were taken back really how well they played. They were on fire that day, you know. Yeah. We all know how good Fiji are, but they just went out there and thought, right, we're just going to give it a crack, and everything turned to gold for them, and we were starstruck. You know, we could have won it probably, you know, and in the end, but they deserved their victory. And then I remember actually coming back on the Sunday, and my parents had booked tickets for the quarterfinal already, like a lot of the parents of the squad did. So I got in the Sunday, and I was waving my parents off. We're going to France, and I just got home. So they went to watch the quarterfinal anyway. I was like, this is bonkers.
I bet that's a kick in the bollocks.
Nuts. But that was that one. 2011 is the one that hurts every single player in the squad. And like I said earlier, you know, I went to France straight after it, but I started. So my form going into that 2011 at 10, I touched on it a little bit in the Six Nations. I thought, right, now I got a good shout at playing 10 year. And it wasn't until the Tuesday before the first game against South Africa, I was told I was going to be playing 15. I thought I'd been training at 10. I played against Argentina in the last warm-up game, played really well. And they said, we're going to Priestland at 10. You were 15. And I was like, I was taken back a little bit by that. And, you know, we look back in them now, and Priestland had a hell of a tournament, and it was probably the right call, to be honest. So I played 15, and I was there, you know, but just didn't really have any impact in things really in the World Cup. Then I played against Samoa at 15, tried for some ridiculous reason to try and smash one of the two Alangi brothers and done my shoulder in. And that put me out for all the group games until the quarterfinal. I was back in the squad for the quarterfinal against Ireland. Came on for a couple of minutes at the end at 10, and Priestland got injured, and I was picked at 10 for the semi-final. And I just, you know, it was, the tournament was just like that for me. You know, I was injured. I was one picked in the position I thought I was going to be. Didn't have really any communication from the coaches. They were into me a little bit, and just then got to the semi-final, and we were obviously within a point away of winning. And I missed 2 kicks at goal. You know, there's obviously Stephen and Penn's missed a couple as well, and Sam got a red card, and just didn't happen for us on the day. And it was just one that really sort of, it's still painful now, really, but that's the way it goes, isn't it?
How do you, like, I've not really spoken to anyone about that France game. Like, how do you, like, what happens in the change room after that? And then as a person, how do you pick yourself up from those darker moments? For someone listening to this now and they might be going through a bad time or whatever, like, what do you do to take yourself out of that and, like, start on that road to better times again?
Well, like I said to you, I signed for Perpignan then, so I knew I was going to France. And it's time, like, it was a good 2, 3, 4 weeks, really, because you come to the end of the season. After if you've won a big game, then great, you can enjoy it. But you know, your last game was always, you know, that one really, and you're thinking about it constantly. And the only thing you want to do is just get back on the pitch and try and rebuild a little bit. And it's just time. It's just time. And you know, I got back with the family and had a little break, and moved out to France then, so try to get settled in a new environment, which it was tough at the start, you know, trying to get used to, you know, to know new people and stuff. And I just wanted to get back in the field. And my first game was away in Toulouse. And you know, I played, say it again.
It's a tough place then.
Oh, it was tough, really tough. But I loved it. Like, you know, like I said, I was around players like Maxi Memos, David Marty in the centre, and completely new thing. And just sort of week by week started, to forget that semi-final in a way. And I played well against Toulouse. My first home game was against Exeter in Europe, and I won man of the match, kicked all my goals, and kicking was a big thing at that point then, because I'd missed a couple in the semi-final. Right, I wanted to get back on a horse and start kicking my goals again, and then you just it takes time, and you build on your performances, and eventually you get over it. Oh, kind of, anyway.
It was like like now when you're coaching, right? Obviously, it's hard because you're not head coach. You're obviously part of a bigger collective as that group. But like, are you more vocal now as a coach in terms of, I think we should be playing this way, or why are we doing this or doing that? Like, because again, as a player, like, are you transcending that into being a coach and playing in the right way with your heads up, and you want players to express themselves more? Yeah,
and like I said, I'm doing the academy, so you've got to try and do a certain element of the pattern and stuff the senior team do, because obviously if they get called up, they need to be prepared. But I love what I do there, because you can focus on footwork, on skills, on obviously the kicking stuff and the basics. But the sessions we do, are all based on just skills. Picking it up, taking people on, and obviously then an element of what the senior team want to do. So I love that part of it. And the university then, I'm attack coach and backs coach with them, so you can put your own sort of stamp on that as well. And you have to appreciate, you can't run everything from everywhere. So it depends what players you've got on the pitch and what players you're playing against as well, determines that. But I do like it, because you've got a bit more of a free rein then, and you can put your little stamp on it as well, It's
harder as well when they're on the piss 3 times a week at the uni.
Exactly, yeah.
I went to UWIC, so I know exactly what that's like, trying to play in varsity on a Wednesday. Then
well, if we played Cardiff University, it's the varsity team we played, but it wasn't the varsity match. That's in March, I think it is.
Yeah.
We played in St Helens last Wednesday, and unbelievable atmosphere. Students all piled into St Helens. I've never seen St Helens so busy,
Class, I love that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. What's the future then, pal? I know you've got to shoot off in a couple of minutes. I genuinely loved having you on. Thank you so much. What's pleasure. The future for you, and what's the plan coaching wise, and obviously with the author and the book side of things? What's the plans with all that?
Yeah, just keep it going really now. I'm enjoying the coaching. It's early morning, so I'm in by sort of after 6, because the players obviously have to train before they go to school or college. So I'll carry on with that, and the university stuff. For now is like I said, I'm enjoying that, and hopefully we'll get book 3, get a contract to continue the series of the books. So yeah, just as I'm going really, and bits and bobs with the internationals. I enjoy going up to those and doing some stuff before, hospitality stuff and that. So
yeah,
it's I'm enjoying it. And I suppose everyone when they retire needs to fill their time, as you said at the start. So I've got my boys. I love Sundays as well. All 3 of my boys play rugby, so class. Sundays are brilliant now. I love going down and supporting them. So yeah, just as I'm doing really.
Are you one of those parents on the pitch that's like shouting, gets a bit chopsy, or are you one of those ones that just let them get on with it and like?
No, I always get into the refs,
I love that.
You do a little bit, you want to sort of just say, oh, go out, leave and play, but you realise how important it is to them, and you remember when you were a 10, 11, 12-year-old kid, you wanted to win every game. So if you're laxy-daisy, you need to get behind them, give as much advice as you can, and you do get into it a little bit then, because you realise how much they enjoy it as well,
Class. Do you have to stop yourself sometimes though, and be like, they're not a 30 cap international, fucking chill out a bit?
Oh, they give me enough abuse, man. I'm not just, no matter how many caps I've had, I'm just Harrison's dad to them,
Class. No, I think that's great though. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Mate, thank you so much. We're just under the time.
Brilliant. That's a pleasure, mate. No, thanks for having me on, Mike.
If you're down Cardiff way, mate, let me know. We'll I'll probably see you about one of the possible. I always see Bernie about Shanklin and that doing the talk.
Yeah, I was with Shanks actually with his stuff on the weekend.
Oh, the De Niro one.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. It was good. We enjoyed it.
I was supposed to get the New Zealand one, but I had to go to Cheltenham, so I had my missus was there. But yeah, they're good. They are. We did the ones in the Lions in the summer, and had Rob Jones there, Bernie, Shanklin. That was real good. Second.
Yeah, they said they did the ones in the Lions. Yeah, they said they're really good. It's a great location as well, isn't it?
Yeah, class, real nice. Mate, thank you so much.
Pleasure, Mikey. No, thanks for having me on, pal.
No worries. We'll tag you in. This will be out. I'll edit it. It'll be out later on today. We'll
Awesome.
tag it in. Where can people find you just so that they can see what you're up to, but for the books and stuff like that as well?
What, like socials and stuff?
Yeah. Socials.
Instagram is I think it's James ___hook,
Yeah.
and then Twitter's James @JamesHook, I think, or something like that. Just type my name and you find me.
Yeah, I'll tag him in, boy, and
yeah,
all the best with everything, mate. Looking forward to see where you go in the coaching as well. Wales one day, do you reckon?
Oh, I don't know. Who knows? Hey, never say never. But like I said, I enjoy the academy stuff and the boys coming through. I enjoy that side of it at the moment. So who knows, innit?
Class. Hey, good man.
If I told my mates that I've brought 2 books out, they'd have laughed in my face. So you never know, do you?
Hey, we're in a different world now, mate.
Yeah.
I love the fact, actually, just on the books, I love the fact that I don't have them, but I read obviously the synopsis of them. Like, you're bringing in like different parts of the game. So like the one, I think the first one is like the captain is the school bully and the head teacher is a bit difficult, and the second one is an injury and I think concussion maybe or something. Like, it's bringing in relevant things outside of rugby as well.
100%. Yeah, like my eldest boy now, Harrison, he's the same age as Jimmy in the book. So I get a lot of ideas now from him. Like, what's it like in school? What's it like around the boys? Obviously, I coach him. What's it like? Not just playing the game, but around day-to-day life. And they give me a lot of ideas for the book as well. So it's great.
Class, mate. Hey, look, I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much, and hopefully catch you. All right, bye.
Top man, Mikey. Thanks, mate.
Hookie, cheers. Look after yourself. Take care.
And you. Ta-ra, pal.
Ciao, bye.
Bye.